Hi, I'm Meenakshi Shetty. I'm here at the RA Forest in Bombay. It's hard to imagine a place in the world, I think, where like 20 minutes from your house, you can actually be in the middle of a forest. We're very lucky to have this here, but I'm here especially with the Rewilding RA project. It's headed by a group of people with Sanjeev Walsan. There's Vanita Thakre, who lives here, and Sanjeev Walsan, who's been leading this movement in many ways for a very long time. But it was just a huge eye opener, and I'm so glad and so grateful I could come, and so grateful to the team that organized it. So there's a huge bunch of us that came, and actually we learned a lot about. I mean, there were of course fundamental issues about the metro car share and the corruption, and this group versus that group, and the various issues that successive governments have tried to, and essentially also the history of Adivasis, of indigenous people, and how traditionally in history they've been kind of always written out of the page books of history, and always dealing with crumbs and leftovers, always marginalized, always the last, and how they were actually originally here, but because of this whole greed and corruption, people wanting to seeing that it's insanely gorgeously green prime property in a city. Of course, lots of greedy grubby people want their dirty paws on it, and trying to get rid of them in various ways. And also how I mean, a lot of things to do with conservation, in the sense of, say, like one of the things we did was so nice that they planned it like that, to do with planting tubers, which was a whole a whole revelation to me in terms of the food chain, because our traditional way of the foods that we eat, generally you got to chop trees to have agricultural crops, and then you eat those, whether it's rice or corn or veggies or whatever it is. But here we planted, and what they do have traditionally, they've actually planted a lot of fruit trees, which are of course directly food for people living here. But we also planted tubers. Now this roots basically, it never occurred to me before that they're actually not only a fantastic source of food when agriculture may or may not be reliable, because cultivated agriculture grows with very specific amount of rain and sun and this and that, and rice has to have standing water. There are 20 conditions and not have diseases. But tubers are just roots that grow wild under the soil, and they just need a friendly tree that they can pile on and wrap themselves around their creepers. And we planted some just so we understand. So they actually had, it's kind of different kinds of tubers. So in a barrio when there's no crop as such, or just routinely through the year, they can just dig up these tubers, roots, and just eat them, boil them up and eat them. It's kind of like yam, but there are many kinds, which are very nutritious, fill your tummy, and some of them can apparently grow up to 20-30 kilos, massive tubers. So it's not just one tiny thing, or like one sweet potato that we might buy in the market. So it was very nice to actually be part of to actively participate in that. They've planted a lot of fruit trees, and it was just we just wrapped up with a fantastic wild food lunch, which was so thrilling. There were like 15 or 17 dishes. I can't imagine how long that the steam must have been sitting and cooking, like forever. I can't even tell you all the dishes. You have to actually tell me them, because it was just exotic and just lovely tastes. It was something very close to the earth, insanely delicious. Like we had a shetu chutney, which is like a mulberry chutney. Like I cannot imagine. It is so delicious. There was a thetsa, which was very different from the regular thetsas I've had. So Maharashtra has this like explosive thing where you just hammer whatever, green chilies with a little oil and maybe some roasted peanut and maybe a bit of coconut if you want. But the flavors were just so rich and really so close to the earth. The whole taste is very different. Your whole palate just opens up in very intoxicating ways I can't explain. Yeah, we even ate a little mawa he distributed just to share, dried mawa flowers, of which he gave us 1,000 uses of the tree, which I can't even begin to tell you. It's a whole encyclopedia in one tree. I have a little sense of that because my sister Saryu and she had taken us on a kind of tribal holiday where we, stayed and around tribal people and ate with them, tried to understand their lifestyle a little bit. And we understood how critical mawa is, not only as a food, but as in their culture, it's a god. Alcohol is offered, it's very much part of making alcohol, but also alcohol being offered to gods, because a lot of that culture is essentially animist and not Hindu or Christian or whatever. A lot of them have been in different parts of the country converted, but essentially they are an animist and believe that their god. So he spoke of a beautiful, two of their key gods, Vaghoba, who's a leopard god, and he explained how it's very interesting things that we don't often think about. For example, of of tigers, leopards, the apex predators being critical in keeping the greenery growing, and greening the planet, because they eat up the herbivores who eat up all the grass and all the other plants, right? So you need them to keep the food chain going, but in this very simple way that really hits home hard. So there are leopards around. We didn't see them, and they're not. They're now slowly coming into man-animal conflict because of tremendous encroachment. It's very interesting. We learned of the history of the Adivasis living here originally on the land and being tried to get rid of and being slaughtered as slum dwellers and encroachers just because greedy people in government and builders mafia can get hold of land. And to continue this tribal lunch, there was a fantastic Natsini bhakri, which is a kind of Natsini bread. It sounds just so vulgar to call it Natsini bread, but okay, it's a bhakri. Very delicious. I can't explain. There were like 15 or 17 things on the plate. There was a lovely tender bamboo dish with greens in it. There were, what were the other names of the greens? You'll have to tell me, I can't remember all.
Takla.
There was a takla, I don't know what. I mean, it was one of those greens. Very interesting. Actually, the takla was a little bit like moringa leaves if you cook them, drumstick leaves. Then there was a green that was cooked with tuber. Loth, a leaf. Like I'd never heard of these. So it also opens up your eyes to us like eating very boring rice and dal and chapati. It's like three grains or like one lentil, but the insane range of very healthy, nutritious things that nature gives us. Like even my grandmother she would make 20 things from all the jungly plants around. Oh, she'll make a tambli from this, she'll make a chutney from that. So tambli is where you mash up the leaves and you have it with buttermilk and little salt. So it's like a liquid, like a thing. It's an uncooked dish primarily. So we had a whole range of things that, and this, also medicinal, knowing this is good for this medicine, that is good for that medicine, from just stuff growing around you, which we have no clue about. So this whole morning was a very rich eye-opener, and I'm just very grateful to Sanjeev, to what is her name? Vanita Tai Thakre, who actually did a lot of the serious work behind this, along with Sanjeev, and a lot of organizing. And No Footprints, who was a partner in organizing this and getting people together with scan code and all. And just to imagine that you're 20 minutes or half an hour away from the city in a rich bioreserve space, where on the periphery there are leopards and there is resources to all this. So they helped us in a very nice way to open up our eyes by making it interactive, encouraging us to plant some tubers with this lovely tribal lunch, giving us history as we walked along. Just very grateful. What can I say? It's opening up my world, and now I'm definitely a new convert of the most enthusiastic kind. Thank you.